Hi. I did my research paper about nuclear power, and a lot of it was about. It's similar to my informative speech that I did. Um, a lot of it was about people's opinions on it and um, why they felt that way. It was part of it. So when I was researching it, it wasn't hard to find information because nuclear power is talked about a lot, and it's not really. It's not super controversial, but there are definitely people on both sides of it. I know that just from my personal experience, there's a good amount of my family that is pro nuclear power that I've talked to about it, and they know about the benefits, agree about it, and um, support it completely. But I also know that there are people who don't. For example, something recently when we went on a road trip all the way to Seattle, and I was riding with my grandparents for part of it because they were with us as well with my family. Um, I was riding with them, and we passed by a nuclear power plant that was off far back off the road, and you could see the steam coming out of the big cooling tower. And my grandma said something about all the pollution coming out of it. Look at that. That's bad for the environment. It's killing it. And I had to tell her that it's just steam coming out of it, and there's no pollution. So um, this paper was kind of helpful to help me see why people feel like that and like what kinds of people do, I guess. But it was pretty easy to find information. But there's very few people who don't support nuclear energy, and it's only because, at least from what I've seen, um, the only reason they don't support it is because they don't fully understand it and they don't like really know about it. They still have misconceptions in their head about it that just aren't true. So a lot of times before, I haven't really researched this topic because um, I just I don't know. I just haven't felt like it enough. I haven't wanted to know about it enough that I've researched it. And it's hard to find sources that are reputable and not biased. So this assignment was nice because it forces you to use, or it forced me to use, uh, like Google Scholar and the Purdue Library's website so that I could find accurate information that's trustable. Yeah, trustable, I guess. Um, so before I researched this, I would talk a lot. Well, sorry, I wouldn't talk a lot um, at like family gatherings or whatever because family gatherings, obviously, you're gonna uh, come come to these conversations about politics and stuff going on, controversial stuff. And before, I've never really said anything because I wasn't confident in my knowledge about this topic, about nuclear energy, but now I feel like I am. And so, pretty much what I ended up finding was that um, the people that don't support nuclear energy, and it was a survey in the UK that the citizens, about 85% of them, thought that radioactive waste was harmful, and they said that they even associated it with intense dread and fear, which the article also says was rooted in a historical iconography of catastrophe, death, and institutional failure. So, similar to my informative speech, it's things that have happened in the past that stick with people and make them have negative ideas about it, even though they shouldn't. But yeah, 85% of people in the UK thought that radioactive waste would be bad. My personal opinion is that nuclear energy is 100% what we have to do for the future. That it produces zero emissions and uses such little amount of fuel that they don't have to have huge mines to find it like coal does. Hundreds, thousands of coal mines around the world. Um, and for uranium, you don't have to have near that. The material is much more energy dense and produces a lot more power per the power density of uranium is so much higher than coal. So uses less material, doesn't release any emissions, and is extremely efficient. So that's why I think it should be um, used as our main source of energy instead of coal or oil, and that we shouldn't really replace coal and oil with sustainable energy stuff like typical ones like wind power, solar power. Um, and I think that it's really the only option that we have for replacing coal. And the research paper helped me to it reinforced my belief because when I was looking for a article about that was pro nuclear power, it was very very easy. There were tens, hundreds of them listed, and they had all listed the advantages of it and how much better it is for the environment than any other form of energy. And when I was trying to look for one against it, I had to scroll for multiple pages before I could even find one. And it wasn't the author that was actually against it, it was a study from the author of people who were against nuclear energy, just to see how much they were against it and what parts they were against. So uh, the research paper was helpful for me to um, excuse me, to learn more about nuclear energy and just how people feel about it and support it.